For some reason, I never asked, but he told me that he had the implant for his penis. He worked for a loan shark. If anyone messes with you, then call me. I will fuck him up for you. You have to press every little right buttons to make up a good story. And that's why she started to cook in the house. And I shared this article with David, and his reaction was quite short. He's like, what? Is he stupid? Welcome back to podcast. Today I am going to talk about my clients. And I've met him like three times. My studio is a private studio, and nobody can come in unless you have appointments, and usually it's closed, locked. So you're safe with me. So usually him, me, and my clients, three of us. I think that's why a lot of clients of mine, they share their personal stories with me. And I don't ask a lot of questions because it's not dating. I'm not really initiate a small talk, but usually they ask me like a couple of questions, like personal questions, and then they start talking about themselves. I think it's because my clients are mostly middle-aged, and they, as I mentioned many times in my other videos, I feel like a lot of middle-aged Korean people, male and female, they need outlets. They need people to talk to. And some of them, I was pretty sure that they're coming in to speak to me. I don't really talk a lot. I just listen usually. I think that's what they want. But this guy, the new guy, I don't think he needs outlets, but he didn't. Okay, it's more like this new guy, he probably didn't know that he needed someone to talk to. And then he told me about his whole life, pretty much. As I said, the session was quite short, and he wanted to talk. So I just listened to him after the session was done. He was still lying in bed, and I was almost done. He just wanted to talk a little bit more, so I let him talk. Anyway, so this guy, I don't even know. I don't think his personal information is very important in this story, but let's say that he's a little bit younger. He looks a little bit younger, but he has quite interesting background. He's told me that he went to China to study when he was 9, and he lived there for 13 years. So he came back to Korea for military service. I don't know if he finished college there, because after military service in Korea, he never went back. So he told me that his Mandarin is very good. And also, I think he's in his 30s, but we don't know. He looks younger than me. But sometimes, I see people who look very young, but they're older than me and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not sure about his age, but my wild guess is that he's in his 30s. And he told me that it's been a long time since he came back to Korea. He used to think that he would forget how to speak in Mandarin, but he said his Mandarin is still there. He is as fluent. His Mandarin is as fluent as his Korean, and he got a first job in construction, and he's good at sugarcoating his career, because first he told me that he was hired by construction company. Turned out it was not. He said what he meant was he was in construction, so he worked for a small outsourcing office. So basically, it's like a little HR office. So they recruit people pretty much like day-to-day base, and they send people to the site so they can do like a physical work. and like a building, I don't know, commercial buildings or apartments. But sometimes like important people are like they have like a contract, so they are fixed. But other people who just need to get involved with like a physical labor, we hire them daily, very early in the morning. So because I've been in that situation before when I was when I was a student in university. I came back to Korea for summer holiday, and I wanted to do. We call this 노가다, 막노동. It's you don't need the skills. You just need to like carry bricks and stuff all day, 8 hours. But it starts very very early, and you gotta be at the office. You gotta be there and at the outsourcing office by I think 5. I went there at 5, and I was like 19. And when I went to the office, there are a lot of the office was full already. So I assume they come like I don't know, maybe 4:30, something like that. And then you wait for an hour, and then you write your personal information to the office, and then they pick you or they don't pick you for specific projects, daily basis, like a daily basis. So he was in that business. He was the guy who calls out people. The reason why he was hired by outsourcing office was because of his Mandarin. Because he said the office was in Daerim. Daerim is like a kind of like a Chinatown in Seoul. They have like a huge Chinese community, and there are a lot of 조선족, Korean Chinese people living there, and these people have a reputation of being very tough and aggressive. And if you're a Korean man, you don't want to mess with them. And then they have a reputation of being a gangster, very physical, and they are ready to fight people, especially if you go to drinking places. You gotta be very careful, blah blah blah. So it's tough neighborhood. It's tough neighborhood, and also they have like interesting Chinese cuisines there. But I wouldn't mess with people there. I've been there many times for the food, but because I'm not a drinker, I never went to drinking places. But if I did go there, I don't think I would have like messed with anybody there. Korean Chinese or Chinese. Like you don't want to mess with them. You don't want to be a tough guy in the neighborhood. So anyway, my client, he got his first job at the outsourcing office. Usually these offices are very, very small, run by like a couple of people or 3 from my experience. And because the office was in Daerim, the Chinatown, he had to deal with a lot of Chinese workers or Korean Chinese workers, and a lot of them are more comfortable with speaking Mandarin. So he worked there for many years, and he said it was interesting, and he became friends with a lot of local gangsters. And he told me that. When he quit, a lot of the people he got to be kind of friends with in Daerim, they, when he was saying goodbye to those people, some of them came up to him and said, "Hey, because we have, each other's contact. If you have someone to, basically, if you want to they usually say like this: if anyone bothers you, let me know. It means that they're gonna fuck him up physically. I've heard comments like that before. Not to me, but to my friends. Like, because you know me. If anyone messes with you, then call me. I will fuck him up for you. I've heard that before, but usually it's just a flex. But my client said, these guys are legit gangsters and they're really tough. I believe him. I mean, he gains nothing from lying to me about this. So it's not, he was not flexing either, because we are not 15 anymore. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting. And then he left there because he got another job in Incheon. In Incheon, there are a couple of like a big casinos. Casinos for foreigners, obviously, because locals are not allowed to gamble. So I mentioned that my client is good at sugarcoating his career, right? Because when he worked at outsourcing office, he said, "Oh, I was in construction business." Usually, when you say that in Korea, we think of corporates like Daewoo, Hyundai, Samsung, because they have like a construction subsidiaries as well, and it's a big company, and the salaries are usually very high, and you get to know a lot of interesting people. It's construction involves a lot of money, so when he said it, it sounded like he was in a big business, but again, he didn't really exaggerate it, but he always finds a way to sugarcoat his past career in a more glamorous way. I think it's a talent because he didn't lie. But anyway, so he said, "Oh, I was involved in construction before, but it was just a small outsourcing office." So he said, "I got my second job in casino." It's like, whoa, because I didn't know he was sugarcoating his career. So I thought it was also a casino job, but it was not a casino job. But he said, "Oh, so I was in casino for many years." It's like, okay, that sounds super interesting, although I don't know how to gamble. So, casino business sounds very unique to me, unless you're a waiter or a bartender. Obviously, that guy doesn't look like a waiter or bartender, so it's like, okay, what did you do there? And then turns out he was not really in casino business. He worked for a loan shark. Also, after hearing all the detail about the loan shark he worked for, it was very also small office like the outsourcing office. So he's good at that. But he loan shark, it's not really casino, but it was related because get a load of this. He said the loan shark office was like right next to the casino in Incheon. And it's like, what a career change from outsourcing officer who speaks fluent Mandarin, and you move to casino industry. That's not really casino industry. Loan shark. You lend money to desperate people and get the interest. So that's what he did. The reason why he was hired by his boss was that he speaks fluent Mandarin. It's like, why? Why do you need to speak Mandarin? And he said, because this casino, locals are not allowed. Only foreigners are playing games there. I was in charge of handling Korean clients, gyopos. They're foreigners, so they can play a game in casino, sure. But I was in charge of mostly the Chinese people. And because he said, a lot of Chinese who play games in casino in Korea, not everywhere in the world, the Chinese, they're big shots. So they play with the big money. And when they lose, they come to us. So, okay. And I said, how was the business? Is it like a lucrative or is it dangerous like a movie? Because I have no idea. I've never met anyone who worked for Loan Shark. I have one person. Anyway, that's different story. Anyway, so I asked him a lot of questions. How much is the interest? He said 20% a week. I said, oh, that's fucking high. Also very lucrative. But my client was not the boss. He was not the owner. So he worked for this Hyung, the big guy. And he said, so he's in the office. He's handling the business, dealing with the people who just lost money. And he was dealing with the desperate Chinese clients who needs quick cash. So he said people usually come and casually borrow 10 million Korean won, which is like based on current exchange rate, like $7,200. So people come in, borrow like a $10 million Korean won, a little bit more than $7,000, and interest rate is 20% for 1 week. And my client said people are usually good with paying back. And he said usually the collateral is a car. I don't know how that works because I figured these people who are gambling in Korea would be tourists, but I guess it's not. Anyway, so usually they come with a car, which is the collateral, and they borrow like $7,000 usually. 20% interest rate is crazy good, so crazy high. So they're making a lot of money. But he said, there's my client who is in the office, and there's a boss who owns the office, the business, and there's a money guy. So money guy is not the boss is this guy. So my client is here, he takes care of the people and writes the contract and check the collateral. And then this guy give the boss the money, and then my client asked for the money from his boss. But they are closely working together. And this guy, he told me, used to be a finance guy, and he wanted to retire. So he's a little bit older, but not too old. So he has a lot of cash. And I assume his boss is kind of like a half gangster, I assume, because you need power to run that business. It's tough business. In case they run away or they don't want to pay back, blah blah blah. So I think the boss should be quite tough. And my guy client, he's just an office guy. He looks very average. Also not very big, not very big built, like not tall, not big built, just a regular looking guy. So he said the business was going very well for a few years, and I asked him like, did you get paid a lot? And he's like, yes. So I only imagined how much his boss and the money guy were making. My client said it's very lucrative business. I think it's illegal. I'm not sure technically, but I don't know. It's in the past. So, well, the reason why it's in the past is because he told me about this Chinese guy. He came in one day and he brought in Audi, I said A5 or A6. I'm not a car guy, but he had an Audi sedan, and then he wanted to borrow 10 million. 10 million, I'm going to pay you back in a week. So 20% interest rate. So is that okay? And he said, sure. Audi, it costs more than, used Audi, it costs more than 10 million Korean won. So let's do this. And then exactly after a week, he came and paid back with the interest. And I said, okay. And then a few weeks later, he came back and he said, I need another 10 million. And I said, okay. 7,000, a little bit more than $7,000. Okay. Collateral, the same Audi I saw. I was like, yes, sure, give me the key. And then he went, after a week, he paid in full. Good guy. He did that one more time. So 3 times, borrowed $7,000, $7,200. And then he paid in full with the interest 3 times. He obviously, my client would report everything daily to the boss and to the money guy. They were very happy. So after 3 times, he paid back the money he borrowed, which was like a little bit more than 7G. The 4th time, the same guy came in with the same Audi. He said, I need 22G. I need 22G. It's like a 30 million Korean won. So he spoke to the boss and the money guy, and that is the guy with the Audi, right? It's like, yes. Let's do this. And then he disappeared. So my client was in trouble. But again, he reported to everybody. Not everybody, but just 2 guys, 2 bosses he had, the money guy and his boss. And they gave my client the green light. And that's what he did. Signed the contract. he kept the Audi, and they expected him to pay back in full, but he disappeared. He ran away. My client said he doesn't think that he was scamming because he was really gambling. But I think he messed it up and he ran away. So the Audi he left as a collateral. My client said it's a lot less. It's a lot less than what he borrowed. So everyone was unhappy, and something happened. This money guy, he needed someone to blame. He didn't know this money guy that well because he works for the boss. And the funny thing is, the money guy sued my client, not my client's boss. So that was the current situation. Yeah. And then he quit because of the stress, and the trial is still going on. I don't know. I have no idea how that works because from what I know, loan shark is illegal in Korea. It was very interesting. I've met two people, including him, two people who worked at casino. But this guy, technically not in casino, but in business, but he's in loan shark. He was just the office guy who speaks good Mandarin. But again, I've met one person when I was in college in Korea. I used to play basketball with someone who was like a leg guy, like a half gangster guy who worked for Loan Shark. So he was like a legit gangster. He would beat up people or threat people to pay the money back, but it was like 20 years ago. And he was a little scary. And he was a lot older because I was young. But anyway, so my client is the second person who has worked in loan shark business. It was very interesting. And he said he saved up a lot of money from working as a 9-to-5 guy in casino business. And you know what? I didn't really ask him about all this. Just conversation took a turn. And twice he said, "Oh God, why did I talk so much today? Like, oh, I'm sorry." And it's like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm good. I'm happy listening to your story." But he's also out of that business, and he said he quit like a year ago or 2 years ago. So he lost contact with his old boss and the money guy. I have a lot of stories for camera because the clients I get for my studio and my work, my service, it's absolutely random. Like I have no idea what kind of person would come to me. So it's usually the best part. Like listening to people's story is the best part. I usually keep the story to myself, but now I have a platform, and also I don't disclose any personal information here. So who knows? I could be lying about all this, but again, like past few years, listening to all these interesting stories and sometimes really messed up stories from my clients, and I usually kept it to myself. But every now and then, I have like an end of the year friends dinner, blah blah blah, and like they ask me how I'm doing, and I would tell like 1 or 2 interesting stories that I heard from my clients without their personal information, and my friends would like lose their mind, like like what kind of people you like you meet for your work, and some of my friends are envious because I meet a lot of random people. I haven't met many bad people, like who would annoy me or who seem very strange or tell me strange stories. Maybe like a couple or 3, 4 of them. All these years, I've met only interesting people mostly. Like I already shared this story with David, and also I had a lunch with Megan Moon like 2 days ago. And I told a little bit of my clients' stories. And I had this school teacher, this guy, was really obsessed with his penis, like a size and he was like a skirt chaser. He loved women a bit too much. And he told me, he confessed me. For some reason, I never asked, but he told me that he had the implant for his penis. And I used to think it was a myth. I used to think it was not a real thing because, like in gangster movies, like Korean gangster movies, usually like all these gangsters talk about it as a joke. Like, oh, this guy has an implant on his penis. It's like, what? So what they mean in gangster movies is that this guy has like a lot of small metal balls around his knob head, and people would tease him in the movie like, "Oh, you have like a metal balls on your dick," and they call it sunflower because on like a this is your knob head, and then you put the little metal balls around your knob. It's an implant. And I thought it was a myth. It was not a real thing, but apparently it is because I've met someone who had it. I haven't seen his penis myself. I didn't want to, but he told me, like, he confessed me that I had that done, and it's very uncomfortable. All of my exes hated it because it just hurts. But the penis implant with the little metal balls is the false belief that that would please women, because a lot of old Korean gangsters wanted to represent themselves as like a strong alpha male. So I have a lot of money, I am strong, I can fight anybody, and also whomever I meet, I can please them in bed. So in order to do that, they came up. I think we got the idea from Japan. In order to absolutely please any women that I meet in the bedroom, I need this superpower, which is like a penis implant with a small metal balls around your knob head. And it was like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when I had that client who was like a public school teacher. He told me like, bro, I had metal balls around my penis, and my current girlfriend hates it, so she doesn't want to sleep with me. And all my exes hated it, and I got it done in my 20s, and I regret it big time. Recently, I met another doctor to remove all these balls, and he said, I better not because it's been with me for too long. It's quite tricky to remove them, or it's a little bit dangerous to remove them. So I would recommend to keep them balls around your balls. So stuff like that I hear from my clients. Some of the stuff that I hear from my clients, I sometimes I'm not sure if I should believe that or not. But again, like this recent client with a casino and outsourcing office guy, loan shark guy, him or school teacher guy with a penis implant, I believe them because they get absolutely nothing from telling me the lie. They gain nothing from it. So I was like, okay. Also, because when they tell me all these stories, there's so much of details there. In order to be like a perfect bullshitter, you have to press every little right buttons to make up a good story. Unless it's your job to bullshit people, I think it's a lot of work and requires real talent to make up a good story and make people believe what you tell them. But stories like I shared today, like a penis implant and the loan shark stories, they gain nothing from me, and they didn't ask me for anything from all these stories. It was just like a small talk. So I believe them. Like I share a lot of my stories with my exes. They are true. But some of the strange stories, non-dating related stories, I heard these stories from my clients. Amazing loan shark story. You don't get to meet those people every day. I'm going to read a news article that I found on newspaper. It's quite strange in my opinion, but I'm going to read it now. Okay, here we go. 괜찮아. A woman in her late 20s recently shared her frustration online after her boyfriend asked why she never buys meals when they go out. She often cooks elaborate meals at home for him: steak, pasta, chicken stew, spending like 50,000 to 100,000 Korean won. It's like less than $100 on ingredients each time. Yet, her boyfriend claimed these home cooked meals don't count as real meals, insisting that only meals bought outside are valid. What an idiot. Quote, "When we meet at my place, I shop, cook, and prepare everything. He sometimes brings a dessert at most, but I cover the main meal," she explained. I was shocked when he suddenly asked, "Why don't you ever buy meals? I mean, am I invisible when I cook for you?" Netizens quickly weighed in, criticizing the boyfriend's attitude as selfish and unappreciative. Comments included, "He doesn't realize how much effort and money it takes to cook at home, and if he believes this way now, imagine married life." Good point. In short, debate highlights a common issue. Some people fail to value effort and intention, only recognizing money spent outside as meaningful. Right. Okay, so there's a missing detail about this news article. When they started dating, the guy suggested, because I'm in my 30s and you are in your 20s, and I make a lot of money right now, so I would cover a lot more when we eat out, and that's why she started to cook in the house. I think, and I shared this article with David, and his reaction was quite short. He's like, "What? Is he stupid?" So, like sometimes I wonder. I read news articles like this, and I wonder, is this real? Because the guy sounds like super dumb. For millionaires, I would prefer home cooked meal. And there's a missing detail in the article that I read because I use a translation. Sometimes she bought Korean beef, like Hanwoo. Korean beef are super overpriced. I personally don't think Korean beef tasted better than other imported beef, but because Korean beef fresh, because it's local meat, they taste good mostly, but at the same time they are overpriced. So I don't need Korean beef steak. Any steak I would be so happy to have if my girlfriend cooks for me. And for millionaires, I would always prefer home cooked meal over eating out. In my humble opinion, eating out in Korea, like I mentioned my France trip, right? I felt like every time I ate outside, I felt like, okay, they have like a real chef in the restaurant. In Korea, it is very easy to open a restaurant because you open a franchise or open a simple food restaurant. They usually give you like a pre-cooked stuff, and you just reheat. There are not many chefs in the restaurant in general in Korea, and so I feel like it's not worth the money. And also, you don't know what you're eating ingredients wise, because a lot of times I eat out unless it's like a super nice restaurant and super expensive. They don't taste fresh. Unlike France, my experience in France. So because I don't go to expensive restaurants in Korea, a lot of times I eat out in Korea. I feel like I am being ripped off not because the price is super high, but because the food they don't taste fresh. So I mean, I do have my favorite spots, but a lot of times they don't taste fresh. So I say to myself, I would rather go home and make myself something simple rather than paying this much money. So I would love to marry this girlfriend because she, in the article, like original article, there are a lot of details about what she made and how much effort she put in to please her boyfriend for paying so much meals outside. I don't know, and also at the same time, I feel like someone who, it, regardless of gender, someone who loves eating out all the time in Korea, I'm not saying for England, I'm not saying for France. Someone who loves eating outside in Korea is usually very unhealthy. So I don't think our lifestyle would match. So I would marry this girl because I love the idea of home cooked meal, which is real food. Eating out in Korea, I don't know. I would rather like find like a real restaurant and save my money and pay like a good money for the food that I eat outside rather than I pay like a, I don't know, like a stupid amount of money, like not so much, but not so little. And then the food is like, what is this? I think a lot of restaurants in Korea are like that right now. That's my humble opinion, like very, very, very personal opinion. So I usually don't like eating out. No. So this short article, I think it's a rage bait, but again, it could be a real story. And then I cannot believe someone could be this stupid. I mean, I'm talking about the boyfriend. Like if you think about it, right? As the article said, in order to cook something nice for your boyfriend or girlfriend, you need to spend some time to think, to plan things. So you need time and an effort, like an actual effort, or also planning. Like you have to think, and then you have to pay for the ingredients. So you have to go out and pick up the ingredients you need, and then you have to pay for it. So it's not free, obviously. And then the quality of food will be a lot better than what you would pay for outside. So I think it worth a lot more than whatever the boyfriend is buying. So this boyfriend is an imbecile. So I think it's a huge red flag. And also, like she cooks for you, and you still complain that she doesn't buy you meal outside. As what are you, imbecile or plonka, or what is this? So when I read it, it's like, is he stupid? But at the same time, it sounds quite likely that a couple would argue about this because eating out these days in Korea, especially in Seoul, eating out costs is just a bit too expensive in my opinion. 철봉, 일로 와. 일로 와. 점프. 올라. 손. 올라와. 그렇지. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap up this video today. I hope you enjoy this. By the time you are watching this, I'm probably back from Africa, and I'll share more stories from Africa. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more stories. Bye. 철봉. Bye. Bye. 카메라 bye. 카메라 bye.